Good morning. What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. Let me get all of my streams and everything up and running here. Hope you guys had a good week in my absence while I was away last week down at Pinehurst for the U.S. Open, which was a pretty awesome experience. I highly recommend if you're even remotely interested in golf and are ever within, I'd say, close, geographic proximity to any kind of a major event getting ready to take place, like Masters, U.S. Open, PGA Championship, anything like that. Make a point to go. It is such a cool experience. You don't even really need to be in golf to go into golf to go and have a good time. So anyway, had an excellent time. Hope everybody did well in my absence. Like I said, what's up, Unknown Reviews? What's up, Ambition? Hope you guys are doing well, guys and gals. Everybody is doing well. Let me get the stream started over here in the Discord. Share screen. Let's do all that. Yeah, sure. Let's go live there. Cool. All right. Now our friends in the Discord have joined us as well. Hello, Discord. Hope you guys are doing well this morning. Hope everybody had a good time, did well, were successful while I was away in Pinehurst last week. Back in business now. Let's get after it. We saw a pretty big day with SPY yesterday. We got some trade plans to recap from the member selected tickers that I posted in the watch list of our Discord on Sunday evening. And then, of course, last but not least, we will get to some new trade plans here today. We don't really have any to recap from last week's live streams because we didn't have any live streams last week. So, all right, let's get into it. So, what are we seeing here? What am I kind of looking at through the lens of ES to kind of get a gauge of what we might want to be preparing ourselves for with regards to our trades in the market as a whole? Overall, everything is looking pretty solid, very bullish to me. We're holding a pretty decent uptrend. A little bit of a sloppy test of it here, but ultimately the test did hold. And ultimately things are cruising to the upside. We did get another nice clean test there. So, I think we've got everything we need to confirm this uptrend as being something that's worth watching. Clearly a pretty strong looking bullish flag, bullish pennant pattern going on here pre-market with ES. Everything from a Neptune perspective looking bullish. I think we just have some resistance to clear out here. This is a fib extension up here at 55.61 that we've come very close to testing. I think over that opens up more room to kind of push up through some more of these fib extensions, some of which are from quite a long time ago and some of which I kind of drew out here recently. So, I'd say as long as we're holding over 55.18 and down to 55.18 could be a great spot to look for dip buying opportunities, really anywhere in that range. As long as 55.18 holds and this uptrend holds, I'd say, you should be in okay shape. I think even better confirmation for the next leg up to come, and things are going to ramp up even further, break over that 55.61 level. We should see the market start to push higher. Market audio seems intermittent. Okay, let me check my mic settings. Sorry about that. Haven't made any changes. Let's see, properties. Let me just check. It's got the right microphone and everything. Anybody else having audio issues on either side of the house? If so, please let me know. I can also try to talk a little louder, get a little closer to the mic maybe. Hang on, let's try this. How about that? Is that like more right up in your face? Good audio? If not, let me know. I'm trying to get this mic positioned as good as I possibly can. All right, so let's get to some trade plan recaps. Again, if you guys notice any other kind of weird video, audio, any kind of issues, just chime in, say something in the chats, let me know. Retail sales overview from Nadesh. I'm not sure what the question is there. Nadesh, are we talking about some economic data that you want to discuss this morning? I don't see. There's retail sales month over month. 0.1 versus a 0.2 previous reading, negative 0.2. So, I don't know if month over month retail sales is ever really a major market catalyst. So it's not one I personally pay a ton of attention to. But if you ever want to just kind of check the numbers or anything like that, I certainly recommend that trading economics calendar that I just posted the link for. It could certainly it's very customizable, and you can do a lot with it and get data points that things like MarketWatch, for example, may not list. Nothing against MarketWatch. It's another great economic calendar to keep your eye on if you want something that's a little bit more simpler and filtered out. But that trading economics allows you to really get pretty granular with what you're seeing as far as upcoming economic data points go. With that being said, let's get into some of these trade plan recaps. We'll start with NVIDIA from the member selected tickers over the weekend. This one tried to start the day above our call entry level. Ultimately rejected, though, came back, caught the put entry key support there, and has bounced and seems to be trying to reestablish its momentum from that point. Overall, things looking pretty solid from a Neptune perspective. The bullish flag held up throughout a lot of that chop and chaos there. Just trying to keep an eye on this one now, moving forward. If we get another break, and especially if we see something that's kind of not pre-market and needs to hold well into market open, I think we should see something like that taking place here pretty soon with NVIDIA, where we would see a break over this 132.85, and again, probably preferably a confirmed break, and preferably somewhere outside of the first 30 minutes of the market open. Even better, right? A break above and a back test before it pushes higher. Look for that push over 132.85, come back, test as support, and then push up to PT1. That's really kind of the ultimately ideal entry, at least the ones I really like to go after. But over 132.85, we still have those targets up there at 134.90, 136.55, and 138.09. So keep those on watch. Your stop loss remains 131.49. And again, this one is posted in the options watch list in the Xtrades Discord. So if you need to get all the details for it, please feel free to go get those there. Snow was another one from the member selected tickers. This was a really nice hold here throughout the day of our put entry. Kind of a very similar thing to NVIDIA, except for NVIDIA started higher and above the call entry. Here with Snow, we kind of started just within the range, but came down, tested that key support very much like NVIDIA did. That ultimately held, and it absolutely exploded off that key support there at 125.84. Eventually did give us a nice confirmed break over that 128.87 call entry, and got as far up as hitting PT1 and on up to the next resistance level. Not the one that I flagged as a price target, so sometimes I like to pick a little bit more of a conservative level if I'm kind of debating between the two. I don't recall really being all that really gravitating toward 131.74 at all, so sometimes momentum just kind of pushes things a little bit higher, but nothing wrong with that, right? We're just taking some profit and holding runners for tests of PT2 and PT3 now at 132.61 and 133.97. Make sure you are moving your stops up with this trade plan. I would say at this point I'd probably have my stops, now that I've seen sort of how this price action has played out, along that 130.47 level. If you want to have a tight stop for your runners that you have left, I'd say 130.47 would be a good tight stop for that. I wouldn't let it go any lower than 129.57 though, and still be holding those contracts that you would have taken yesterday. AMD, this one played out to the downside and played out super fast. In fact, it was way below our our put entry within the first 5 minutes of the open. I even said in the chat, don't chase this move down. I'd rather wait and see if we get some kind of a potential backtest entry to try to go short or play downside on AMD. So ultimately pushed down past PT1 plus, kind of similar to what we saw with Snow. Did recover, did give us a back test and an okay looking entry there if you're not using Neptune, if you're just straight using price levels and maybe some moving averages or whatever. Definitely looks like there's a back test projection opportunity to get in right there. Neptune kind of had it fully bullish though at that point. So kind of a mixed setup, I would say there, but ultimately never invalidated the stop loss average down for the put side of this trade plan. And now we've got the SMAs bearing down on things, price trying to push back below that put entry. I'd say if it does make a move or hold below, again, at least give it, I would say, 30 minutes after open. that hold below 157.72 could see another opportunity to go short on AMD here. Or if you got in on this back test, you should see the short side of this trade plan start to play out, assuming that we do, again, invalidate 157.72 support. That should open up things to the downside. All right, so let's get into some trade plans. We've got plenty of time left here this morning. What's up, Chris? Good morning. Good to see you back. I'm glad to be back. Good to see you here, brother. Hope you're doing well. For those of you who are tracking over in the Xtrades Discord, please take the time to come over and join us on the YouTube side of things. That is really where I'm putting my focus as far as the chat goes. We do have a lot of people there in the audience right now, so that is kind of, I think, the future of these live streams. Eventually, one day, we may decide to just wind down from doing them at all on the Discord. But again, I am trying to keep all of my focus on the YouTube side of things. So if you want to get involved with the chat, give me your ticker requests, all that sort of stuff, please make sure to go join the YouTube stream and post your questions, ticker requests, etc. there. All right, so let's see what we've got here. We've got some ticker requests. I saw unknown reviews. ACN threw a curveball at me last time. Last time it was not an earnings play. And this is another non-earnings play. I guess maybe the last one worked out so well. We've got unknown reviews. Oh, no, there it is. But we've got a couple of days instead of it being like tonight. So let's see how this plays into the lead up there. In ACN, I'm not all that familiar with, actually. Accenture. The name sounds familiar. Remind me what Accenture does. Professional services company. Lots of word porn. They said AI, so it's probably going to explode. Okay. Just wanted to get kind of a gist of where things are at and what I'm looking at exactly. Like I said, lots of word porn there, right? Like they say a lot of impressive stuff without saying a whole lot about what they actually do. But they do mention AI, at least in the trading view kind of synopsis or whatever. This one looks super beaten down too. Okay, Accenture, what do you have for us here? All right, well, clearly not one I'm super familiar with, never charted it before, so where do we start? Let's get our support and resistance nailed down. And we'll see where that kind of leads us. Again, I don't want to go into any trade planning process with too much of a bias or an expectation for, bullish, bearish, etc. Just, as strictly technical as you possibly can be. Just focus on your levels, find those, develop your charts. That's your blueprint for building your plans, and then it's just executing plans after that, right? Easy at that point. At least as far as technicals go. Challenge comes back in when you introduce ego and psychology and all the things that make trading so hard for a lot of people, which is just getting over those psychological hurdles. It's a very personal process. I wish I had sort of a panacea or some, one size fits all. Hey, just do this and that'll fix your trade psychology. That is a very individual journey. But anyway, it is what makes trading challenging and, in my opinion, fun, right? It's almost like playing a chess match with yourself, trying to beat your own doubts and uncertainties into submission. Just trusting the chart. All right, let's see. What else do we have? I am interested in this level. Yeah, there's enough there, I think. Kind of a tight couple of weekly levels, but there's definitely something at both of those price points. as well as something here going on the bigger picture, higher time frames. This is a very interesting rejection. Doesn't necessarily have to be a weekly level. I don't think it is. So we'll let that play out. I'm not going to go too much higher. Maybe we'll do one more weekly level. I do see one sitting right about here. I think that's probably good. I don't even think there are any other truly levels that we could truly validate any higher than that. Maybe one more below down here. I don't think we'll need anything below that. And kind of an interesting little spot right here, actually. It sits right about there. Yeah, it's pretty close. Okay, let's keep on digging into this thing. Now we get a little bit more perspective here on the daily chart. Interesting bounce there. Does not, oh, or does it? I say it does not, at least at the initial view. I wasn't seeing it really being much of a, other than a one time deal, but I think we do have something sitting right here actually. So let's get that in place. Let's go back, check where that handles that. Yeah, pretty close on that little bounce right there. All right, let's keep focus on this more recent PA. Level there. Gets to be a little quicker as we get into these, start to dig in, because you can just see more of the candles all at once, and it's a little bit more easy to see where the buyers and sellers are stepping in and stepping out of their positions. All right. Yeah, like that one as well. Will we need anything lower than that becomes the question. Let's see. Let's go ahead and fill in. Maybe we have one more daily level in the mix in here. Let's see. Yeah. It's not very obvious, I would say that. And I'm not seeing any more, whoops, any more tests of that range, at least anytime recently. So maybe we just don't force it, because if it ain't there, don't force it. Yeah, I just don't see anything that really sticks out very strongly to me as like, okay, that's a clear support and resistance level. Okay, that's fine. Let's keep on keeping on. That spot though, I do want to see that area on the 4 hour now that we are drilling in here a little bit. Should probably clear up that spot that I was trying to find, which, yeah, I think is sitting right about here. Yeah. Kind of a, I don't know, murky. That's probably the right word for that. Support and resistance level, but I think it's there. We may not even wind up needing that level, but we'll see. Again, let's just find the levels, build the plan, go from there. CN. All right, let's get back to this recent price action. I'm going to focus a little bit more on this for the time being. Let's see. Got something hanging out right about there. Just check that back this way. Could be, yeah, no, I think that's pretty good. I'm happy with it. always allow for a little bit of margin of error, but keep that margin of error small. Yeah, this thing's really kind of just rattled right on through a bunch of probably established support and resistance levels here recently, but not really showing them on this move down. So like I said, just kind of cut through them. Oh, that's definitely an interesting level right about there. Yep. And let's go back a little further. There's something there. And right about here. Yeah, definitely. And let's see. Probably one more 4-hour level, then we'll kind of fill in the blanks on the hourly. Go ahead and get to trade planning. Just want to get a decent little kind of, roadmap built up here, and then we can proceed to figure this out. Okay, yeah, I think we're good. All right, so let's pop on over to the hourly. That was interesting, though, before I move too far away. I think this is going to wind up being our call entry. Also noticing that here on the hourly, I think we had that would be a break over the 333 as well. So already like a lot of things with that being our call entry. Head over that. I wouldn't want to be back below this 293.57, so very clear stop loss average down there. Price targets for the upside. Don't want to ignore this weekly level. I think that's going to put this trade right at a 1-to-1 risk reward setup, which it's not ideal. It's not terrible, but it's not ideal. Yeah, it's literally like right on 1-to-1. And that's generally how I like to judge sort of the initial setup, or kind of judge the, the strength. Is this A plus, B minus kind of setup, right? A plus is, for me, kind of like 2-to-1 risk reward. If I build out my plan and then do my long short position, and between the call entry and PT1 and the call entry and the stop loss, if I get a 2-to-1 risk reward setup, that's an A plus. 1-to-1, kind of like a B plus. So start small. I would say feel free to average up and scale into this trade. Over that, I like Accenture to take a shot at this next weekly level, and then also like after that this 4-hour level up here at 318.76. So bing bang boom. To the downside, let's see. It does seem to be forming a little bit of an uptrend here. So keep that on watch. I'm just looking for potential support factors. Kind of eyeballing this 279.82 daily level as the level to break, to play for downside. Let's see though. Is there a potentially earlier entry is my only question, because I think we do invalidate that little bit of a uptrend below 283.59, so we could be in a little bit earlier on this possibly. At the same time, don't want to be in too early. There is a possible fill in the blank. Again, I mentioned that we might need to fill in some blanks here on the hourly chart. I think there is. It's right about, yeah, maybe it is right on that wick. Maybe even just right below it. Let's see. Yeah, something right about here that looks pretty interesting to me that I want to see cutting back this way. Just kind of rally off that a little bit into that 283.59. So what I'm thinking, let's get back to current. Yeah, what I'm thinking is a shot at it for downside below 283.59. We leverage this weekly level overhead. It's our stop loss average down. That gives us our first target down here at 276.38, I believe. Below that, let's go back. Is there a level there? Yeah, I think there might be. So I don't want to get too greedy with this downside move. I think we have an hourly level here that could maybe catch. If not, it'll be this weekly level just below at 270.94. Again, it goes back to just filling in some blanks as we do the plan, because we didn't go through all the time frames I would typically chart, just out of sake of getting as many plans in the time we have available. I think we have another level here just below that weekly level. Got it 268.65. That's going to be our third price target. So this is what, let's just check the risk reward on this downside. So 1.28, a little bit better than the upside, at least starting out. Also smaller though room as far as what's left to the downside after it having already pulled back quite a bit, starting to run into some saturation of support there, which might bounce it anywhere down in those price target, in the range of those price targets. All right, so let's go over this real quick. ACN live stream plan, posting this link in the chats for you guys, as well as the options watch list in our Discord. All right, so let's cover this real quick, and then we'll move to our next trade plan, the next ticker request we've received. So what are we looking for here on ACN Accenture? We're looking for a break over 299.27. I know that seems like it's forever away, but there is a lot of rejection and selling pressure opportunities that are moving dynamically. I think until we clear that out, so I would just be very cautious getting too eager going long too early on this one. So 299.27 is what I'd really want to see break for more upside. That should give us targets at 305.11, 312.77, and 318.76, with a stop loss average down at 293.57. To the downside, I'm looking for a break below 283.59. That should give us targets at 276.38, 272.47, and 268.65, with a stop loss average down at 288.62. That is your Accenture trade plan. Well, I should say those are your Accenture trade plans, plural, both upside and downside. All right, so let's take a look at what other ticker requests we've received. Thoughts on CMG this week? Did they finally confirm their split? It looks like they have 50-1. Big run into that stock split, so be interesting to see. Has CMG split previously? Don't know if it has. Let's take a look at that real quick. I need to look at it on the daily to see splits. So it's never split before. Yeah, I didn't think so. 50-1 is going to be a huge split. I mean, we saw what just happened with NVIDIA, but Chipotle is in a very different set of circumstances, right? Just to show you an example. I think a lot of people are like, oh, NVIDIA is going to pull back after the split. If you look at what happened after the last time it split, right? This is your split right here. I mean, ramped up big time before it saw any kind of a pullback. So that's kind of what we're seeing again with NVIDIA. That splits are not always necessarily, I think everybody expects that there's going to automatically be profit taking right after a split. That's not always the case, in my personal opinion. But it will be very interesting to see what this does with Chipotle. It's going to make it a lot more accessible. Let's see, what's that going to take it down to? I'm pretty good at doing mental math, but whoops. But yeah, it's going to take it down to like around below $70 a share from thousands of dollars a share. So that's going to be a pretty big shift. But with this one, I would not be surprised with that big of a split to see a little bit of a pullback. When is the split? June 26th. So we've got some time. I mean, you know, it'll be interesting. Let's go ahead and plan it. Clearly, I've not really ever charted Chipotle before. It's got crazy wide bid-ask spreads. At least it does currently. Keep that very much in mind as you consider whether or not to handle this one with shares or options. Shares, as always, but even more specifically with Chipotle, are going to be, I think, a safer approach. Just because of those very, very wide bid-ask spreads. So just be mindful, pay attention to that. All right, let's dig in here. What am I doing? Indicators for a second here. Zoom this in a little bit. Yeah, I think this is just a tiny little bit lower right there. Don't think we're going to really get much help. This is going to be an interesting level to watch, though, actually. Just getting ready to say, I don't think we're going to get much help here on the weekly chart with how vertical this move has been. But that was an interesting little 1-2 rejection, flip to support, bounce. Right. Interesting level. Not really anything confirmed there yet. Same thing here. This does look pretty decent though. Still a gap to fill down here on the daily, but I doubt that happens prior to the stock split. I think this level does sit a little bit lower there. Mark off these gap levels. It'll be interesting to see if they become a factor. Also need to confirm them. I want to see this on the extended hours. Right now I'm looking at the daily because I think Chipotle is a little bit soft on the extended hours trading, which can throw things off a little bit if you look at it on the higher time frames. All right. So let's check this gap out. Looks like a gap on the 4-hour, but I'm not convinced. Let's take a look at smaller time frame here. What's that? Not an earnings report, just a big pop here. Very interesting. It's not truly a gap, but still levels I think we'll want to keep on watch. So we'll keep them on watch. All right, let's go back to the 4-hour here real quick. And the other thing we're definitely going to need is going to be some trend-based fib extensions, but before we get into all of that, let's get some of this very loose support resistance levels in, at least as far as anything up in that 3250 plus range. This guy is sitting right about there. And yeah, I think we got something right there. Probably going to need to get some smaller time frames to find anything else. Yeah. Yep. All right. So let's fill in the blanks. Let's start working on this plan. We'll add some fib extensions here in just a moment. Is it there? No, I think that level's a little higher, actually. I think we've got a little bit of a dip below level there. That sticks out pretty significantly. All right. Yeah, not much else we can use there. Okay, so trend-based fib extension. Pretty clearly starts down here. Boy. Typically, I like to see a little bit of a rejection first. So we're kind of really guessing at it, although there was a rejection here. My question then becomes, is there a place that looks like we line up a few things here kind of all at once? I think the answer is yes, right about there. This is definitely kind of, I would say, what's the right word for this? Probably one of the more speculative sets of fib extensions I've drawn, so very much keep that in mind. Very much keep Chipotle is in full-on price discovery right now. This is going to be interesting until after the stock split. But let's see how this plays out. All right. I want to just real quick. I know you guys who've watched me do these for a while know I don't typically get into these smaller time frames, but when we're in price discovery, a little bit more of a granular perspective can be helpful. All right. So I think what we're looking for, and again, this is iffy, especially with how Chipotle moves. Whoops. All right. I mean, really, the only thing we can do for upside is just play these extensions, assume that, again, this slightly more speculative approach actually holds up. To the downside, again, kind of have to rely almost solely on those fib extensions, but below that, we do start to get into some actually validated levels. I do like that kind of to be determined, but has a really nice flip of support to resistance right there, so that could definitely be a first price target if there is a pullback. Second price target down to that daily level. Third price target, I think it could try for 31.69. Again, I'm not really expecting much of a pullback on Chipotle. This may kind of operate very similar to Nvidia and just kind of run toward that stock split. Will be a very interesting one to see if we can find a good entry on shares after the split, though. So keep Chipotle on your radar screen for that, because the options chain looks nice for potentially selling some contracts if you get good fills on those wide bid-ask spreads. Find some eager retail traders who just don't want to miss an opportunity and sell close to the ask. All right, so here are the Chipotle live stream plans, and also in the options watch list in our Discord. So What are we looking for here on Chipotle? We are looking for a confirmed break over 34.45.17 to play for targets at 34.81.76, 35.30.55, and 35.96.11 with the stop loss average down at 34.10.10. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 33.65.88. That should give us targets at 32.94.23, 32.42.19, and 31.69.20 with a stop loss average down, shared with the upside trade plan there at 34.10.10. That is your Chipotle trade plan, and let's see if we can't get to, yeah, first split ever for sure. ACN, Accenture, and AI. Chris, the Muse, wants to take a look at Disney. I think we should take a look at it. Squeeze in one more trade plan before. Well, how about this, Chris? Why don't we just use the trade plan we've already got? It's right back in this range. It's responded well to our price targets. It's broken out to the upside, tested PT1 and pulled back, broken out to the downside, tested PT1 and bounced. Do we just recycle this exact same trade plan? It's my big question mark. Let's take a look. Let's let the indicators weigh in a little bit here. All right, thinking this through a little bit. Interesting that I may have this daily level just a little high. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. I would make that one slight adjustment. Also, I think I've got this hourly level a little bit high as well. It's a little bit more like right there. Yeah. Okay. Honestly, I don't see much that makes me feel any differently about how these last trade plans worked out. Breakdown PT1 did overshoot a little bit there. Over 102.07 though gets us back over the SMAs. Got a pretty clear test and stair stepped up PT1, 2, 3. Is there a level up here that I'm missing? Also, Disney is not a really reliable extended hours trader. So let's actually take a look at this on the, see if that, yeah. Also has a gap to fill to the downside. That's interesting. All right, I think I got this level a little bit low, maybe. Sorry, I'm just trying to, I think we're very close to having a trade plan ready to go on this already, but I want to check a couple of things real quick. Yeah, I think that is more like right here. Let's see how that lines up with what I was looking at over here. Pretty close. All right. My only concern with playing all the way back down to PT1 here a second time is this potential gap fill reaction. Again, it's not a great extended hours trader. That does look like pretty clean movement though. All right, okay, I think I've debated enough. I'm gonna say let's take a shot at it. I am gonna make this slight adjustment on PT1. I think I had that level a little bit high before. The other thing I think we could do, although if we're gonna give it room down to there, nah, I'm gonna leave, yeah, I'm gonna leave the rest of it alone. I like it. Let's just recycle this plan. And I wanted to make sure before I just, kind of phone this one in, which is not really at all what I was doing. I, just happens to be coincidentally right back in a very similar scenario, and I like how the previous setup with this plan like this played out. So I think we could see it play out again, and might see PT2 on the next go around, depending on which side it decides to break. Yeah, no, I like it, Chris. Makes things easy, buddy. All right, so here is your live stream plan. This will be our last one for this morning. Anybody who reached out in the YouTube channel that I didn't get to, my apologies. I do try to get to as many of these as I can, but I do need to go get the SPY plan put together for today. Let me go over to the morning live stream. Yeah, Nadesh, unfortunately, I am wrapping up Marin. Man, I'm gonna go with Mary. I'm gonna call you Mary for short. Not in a bad way. We'll think about it like, Mary, like jolly, merry, happy. And you were looking for BBAI. Do me a favor, Mary, make sure that you come to the YouTube stream on Thursday with your ticker request. That is where, again, the vast majority of my focus is. It's very hard to juggle multiple live chats and streaming and charting all at once. So I sometimes, especially if I wind up switching channels over to the watch list where I can, in Discord where I can post the trade plans there as well, that can kind of throw me off from remembering to circle back over to the chat part of the live stream in Discord. So please, 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 guys, make sure that you do come to the YouTube side of things. I would really appreciate it. It helps me kind of concentrate and focus, and you'll actually get the attention you deserve. So with that being said, let's recap this DIS trade plan real quick. We are looking for a break over 102.07 to play for upside, with targets at 102.87, 103.55, and 104.08, with a stop loss average down at 101.51. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 164. That should give us targets at 99.26, 98.08, and 97.47, with a shared stop loss average down with the upside trade plan at 101.51. And with that, that is going to conclude this morning's live stream session. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. We will be back Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope to see you guys back here then. We'll recap these trade plans we worked on this morning. We'll circle back to our member selected tickers again from over the weekend. I'll share any other insights or anything else I've come up with between now and then. So with that, as we always say here on the FOMO live streams, plan your trades, trade your plans, go out there and get some green. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I will see you all in the chats. If you have joined our Discord, if you haven't joined yet, please come check us out. There's a link in the description of these live streams that will take you over to the Xtrades Discord. We do offer free trials, so come check it out. I think you'll like what you see. All right, go out there and get some green, folks. I will see you in the chat and back here Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining me again. Take care. Have a great day.